Hello, hello, hello. Have you got a license for all this mucking about?
I do not have a
Hello,
license.
hi.
I'm a little lost.
We
don't look like idiots doing it twice.
Well, you already did that.
Hi guys, I am Randy.
And I am Ellen, and we are about to repeat everything we just said because we didn't record our sound, and so now we're doing the intro again.
Recording of the sound.
We're doing the intro again. But anyways, guys, this is the first top 10 board games video that we've made in a long dang time.
Couple years.
And we discussed before that the first year it was laziness.
Yes.
That we did not make a video because it's
lazy.
You know,
kind of got away from us.
I was gonna say it's a lot of work, but it's not that. We're just lazy.
Yep.
And then the next year we forgot.
Yep.
So, and then this year we got a lot of requests, and I think part of it is because there's a lot of dang good games that came out this year.
It was a really good year. Actually, though, I mean, honestly, the last couple of years were quite good, but this one's been
exceptional.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of good games.
Yeah.
How many games do you think will be on both of our lists?
You're saying list in general, right?
No, like
numbers.
Crossovers. Yeah, not a direct number one necessarily.
I definitely think about 5 or 6 of them for sure. Just because we know each other's taste.
Yeah.
We play all our games together, pretty much.
I agree. I think.
I know what he likes.
You know, in the last take, I said I think 6 is good. But
I'm trying to say slightly different things than the last time.
I think it might be 5.
I'm gonna be so bold as to say 6 or 7. I don't know.
6 or 7,
babe. It's crazy, but think about how many games we've played together.
Yeah,
it's a lot. So the other thing that we discussed before, I'm just gonna preempt everything with that. Everything that I talked about before, I'm saying again, is the ramp up to this video has been quite intense. So we have had a butt ton of games sitting at our house that we needed to get played before even making this video.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're like, let's open up our door, basically.
Yeah.
Like a revolving door.
So we played,
to have people over.
We played
to play these.
Like 35 or 40 games. And then we still had like 10 or 15-ish that either we had or knew people that had them that we wanted to play as well.
Right.
And so I think we had like 9 of our own games that I definitely wanted to get played because like we got them towards the end of the year. Christmas, holidays, all that stuff kind of just was hard.
Yeah.
So we got a bunch of games in, played them a couple times, try to solidify the list for top 10 in 2022.
Yes, we definitely did that. It's, for me, learning a board game is kind of, it's challenging, and I definitely learn by experience. So he would be like, let's go over the rules together, or like sometimes, here's a video you can watch beforehand. I'm like, 100% not doing that. I'm just going to play the game.
I mean, it was like 9 days in the straight. 9 new games.
It was.
And like I said, we replayed them as well, but it's just a half hour or so for a rules video, half hour or so reading the rule book.
There was a lot of people in this house.
Some of the games took an exorbitant amount of time.
Gosh. But you know what? I can look back and smile at those memories.
No, it was fun, obviously, and everybody had a good time. But yeah, some of them were just, first play is always kind of clunky, and then you have new people, or not new people, but like people other than just ourselves and stuff. So,
but anyway, so here we are, super excited to bring you our top 10.
So here comes number 10. All right, guys, here is our number 10. Mine is Carnegie.
Okay. I'm kind of surprised that made your list because it's a love-hate relationship for you.
It's very much a love-hate, yes, and that's why I think it's at number 10 because I'm not I'm not necessarily excited to play it, but when I'm playing, I'm like, hey, this is great.
I'm not excited. I hate this. Also, you're number 10
because of this reason. Because it's just like I'm always second guessing every single move I make.
Okay.
I feel like, hey, I'll do this. I think that'll give me the most points, and I'm like, maybe it won't. Maybe this will give me enough.
But that leans into your personality. When you do something, you gotta do it. And so even that's true for board games as well. Like when Randy, I guess, he literally laps everybody at the table almost every single game because he has to do the most optimal thing all the time, and Carnegie is a little tight.
Well, I like
it's a
playing
little
it.
figure
It
outy
is-
as you go.
It's tight, but not unnecessarily so, and that's why it's still here, because I don't like super crazy tight games.
True.
Although, if it's tight, I'm just, see?
Yeah,
This is how torn I am. I
freaking
can't ever say for sure on a tight game if I like it or not.
Yeah.
But no, it's kind of not puzzly, but it's kind of gives you that feeling of like, okay, well, if I would have done this or this better, then I would have done this and this. So I do like that aspect, and that's why it's kind of sneaking in at the
What's the
top
main mechanic
10.
of that one?
Well, it's kind of like there's a bunch, right? So there's like this little route building thing.
I've played it. I don't remember.
There's like this route building thing, and then you're kind of connect cities. That's one way of scoring, and that gives you a multiplier for moving up in the different regions.
Yes.
And then there is the smorgasbord of different end game conditions that you can get. So you
Love
can kind
those.
of you can claim those, kind of tailor your game towards that, because no matter what you're kind of collecting or doing, you can really capitalize on it by selecting those end game conditions.
That's cool.
And those are like a first come first serve basis as well. So you're kind of like deciding when you want one versus another.
Oh, that sounds stressful.
And that's
that
part of the
sounds
reason, though. It's like I just.
But you love that kind of stuff.
I know.
And hate it.
I know, but I
Ooh.
still feel like an idiot when I play.
That's so sad that you can feel that way. But you know what? I've experienced that.
But it's good. It's like it's just enough where like I want to keep playing.
Okay.
But like if somebody said I want to play Carnegie, I would play. But like I don't think
Oh
that
my
I don't think that I would grab it off the shelf necessarily.
What a
I don't
weird
know.
little thing happening right now.
It's just
such a juxtaposition.
It's such a push pull for me.
Isn't there something too with you got to move your guys into like a building at like a
Yeah, there's
time?
like this board,
I
and
remember
then you're
not
upgrading
being able
them.
to understand that building
So
at
there's
all.
like 4 different main actions, and I'm not going to get into it all, but there's
Please
like 4
don't.
main actions, and one of them is like moving people. So it's just it feels a little bit like a wasted turn. I mean, you can
don't
kind of
like that
maximize
feeling.
that and stuff. So that's one aspect that I'm not thrilled about. I understand it and things, and that's part of the game. But you know, what are
Okay,
you
cool.
gonna do?
Carnegie. There you go.
Your
My top 10, my number 10
of your
is
top 10.
Endless Winter. Which I
low.
knew was
That's
going to
low.
repulse you that it was that
That's a
low on
little
my
low.
list. But it made the list. There's a million games out there. It made my top 10.
You only
so
played
that says
50 of them
something.
this year. From this year, though.
So, the designer of this game is our buddy Stan Kordonski, and I really just wanted to say that name. That's the only reason I'm telling you that. Kordonski is such a great guy. Anyways,
Yes.
fantastic game. There's a lot going on. There's a few different boards. You can do something over here with your... I'm going to screw it up again. For real. Megaliths?
Megaliths.
Okay.
Correct.
I was going to say monolith. What is monolith?
Monolith is like a regular statue. Megalith is like a big structure.
Oh, so they're kind of the same vein. That's why. Okay, whatever.
I mean, it's more monolith is more like a monument.
Okay.
Versus a megalith being like a structure or whatever.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But yeah, you're like building that all together.
You're building that, yes. And so there's lots of different things to do during the game. I love that about it. It feels rewarding in that if you see somebody moving too much on this track, you can kind of go over here and do this thing.
Yeah.
I love that there's set collection. That's one of my favorite mechanics. One of my least favorite mechanics is area control, or majority. I think this one is majority.
No,
not
this one's
control.
more control because
Is
you
it?
do have to. I mean, well, it
When I
can
looked
be
it up, it said
majority.
majority.
No, you know what? I think
Feel like you're wrong.
You're right though.
Thanks.
No, you're right because if you share, you both get it. That's true.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. It feels rewarding. Stan's games are very much like that, and I like.
Stan's
that
all
feeling.
about sharing.
He is a sharing, caring son of a gun. Anyways, fantastic game. It's my number 10.
Yeah, too low. Too low. Good. Lots of good expansions to explore there too.
Oh my gosh. How
Yeah.
many are there?
We haven't even played all the
I know.
expansions yet.
This is pre-expansion talking, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I
Top
played Rivers and
10.
Rafts and Ancestors, but I have not yet done the cave paintings where you actually draw on the board.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, I know.
I forgot about that.
Well, I've been waiting to play that one because I know that you really wanted to try it. So, like, last time we played, you didn't play with us, so we
Gosh,
we
it's so
played the other
nice.
ones,
You can
but-
actually write on your board. Like cave drawings.
Yeah,
Okay.
it looks cool.
It's very cool.
But anyway, on to number 9. All right, guys, here we are with number 9.
Uh-huh.
Mine. I wanted this to be higher, but there's just too many games out there
Give me
that
the
were
first
better.
letter. I want to see if I can guess it.
A P. Vanna. P.
Planet Unknown.
It is.
Really?
Man!
Oh my gosh!
So, I love
that
Polyomino.
game. Yeah, you do.
I love Polyomino. And
It's his
this
favorite.
game is great Polyomino. It's got
Yeah.
all the extra like planets
so
and the different corporations.
Mm-hmm,
So I like it.
There is a lot
yeah.
because you're doing. It's not that it's not a complex game at all, as a matter of fact.
No.
But the fact that it comes with so many main player boards that you can take a new one and you have an entire different objective with different things to gain along the sides. It feels different every single time.
So it's all polyominoes, and it's a pretty true polyomino game, especially when you do some of the other boards. So it's not just like kind of like blocking things together. There's all sorts of different shapes. You have to kind of fit them in certain ways. You are trying to make like full sections, right? You're not trying to make like holes or whatever. But as you play some of the other boards, there are places that you want to work around, or you're trying to keep spots open.
Yeah, there'll be
for
like
things.
Restrictions or benefits if you hold on to a spot, keep it open, and then put something else there. It's really
it's super solid. But it's got like each tile has like 2 different types on it, and like their corporations. So as you build those up. Or not the corporations, but like the whatever other corporations. So there's like 5 tracks. So as you put them down, you go up on the tracks. And if you go up on certain tracks, you can get some, you know, you can get some bonus cards. Some of them you'll give you, what do you call it, like special abilities.
Yep.
Some of them will give you like little filler trees and points.
Yeah.
And then there's one that like
such a cool game.
The track moves like zigzag through, so and then you can like leapfrog it. So there's just lots of really interesting ways of playing the same game.
Yep.
And the boards will be like, okay, you can work on this half. You can't cross over. You can only butt up tiles. So it just kind of gives you all that.
One of my favorite things about it is you bring these little cute little tiny little rovers.
Yeah,
put them on your board, and then you can like move it around and pick up
asteroids and stuff. Yeah, like, asteroids and what else? Isn't there something else you pick up too, or no?
Well, there's those robots, and you can put a rover on top of them.
Yeah,
then
you find
gets
a little.
Rid of a point. So you want to pick them up and deliver them.
Yeah, you pick up the little. They're like they're life
space
pods. They're like life pods. Yeah, and then you put them in, and you can get points for those and things.
That's a great game.
I wanted it to be higher, but there's just so many other games.
I know. It's been a good year. All right, my number 9 is. Oh, you're gonna be so appalled at me.
Oh no.
It starts with an A.
Oh, is this Ark Nova?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, are you mad that it's that low on my list?
No.
Are you surprised?
I'm a little surprised that it's on your list, to be honest. I'm a little surprised. Yeah, I mean, it should be higher, but then again, I don't think it should be higher for you necessarily. Cause I didn't think you liked this one that much.
I love Ark Nova.
Okay, first caveat.
Yeah.
Ark Nova, English U.S. release.
Oh yeah.
Was 2022.
Oh, I forgot about this little bit.
Okay, so I have Ark Nova on my list.
Everybody, stop yelling at me. I know everyone's.
I have
yelling
Ark Nova on my list as a number. So when we get to it, we'll get to it, but.
We'll discuss that later.
The problem is that it would normally be considered by anybody a 2022 game, but there are so many reviewers that got it in 2021. It's all of a sudden became a 2021 game for the masses. So like a lot of people already put it on their list. But anyway,
it's a fantastic game where you were building a zoo. Wait, right?
You're building a zoo.
Also, I don't even know what my list is. Yeah, you're building a zoo. You're putting animals in it. The animals, if you put them by each other or surround things in your zoo, you can get bonuses and things like that. One of my favorite things about it is you choose what action you're going to do with your cards, and once you do the action, you then slide the rest of your cards down, and the other card will take its place. So there's this constant shifting.
Yeah, they like shift over
of things that you can do, but you also have to have enough like a high enough. Was it association?
Depends on which ones you're doing.
Some category to be able to even do it. So you're kind of.
It's like the research track.
Yeah. I don't know how to. This game is very complex. There's a lot to it. I think it's very heavy.
It's pretty heavy, especially when you want to. If you want to play well, it's definitely adds weight. Right. Like you can play the game, I think, at any number of levels, but to really extract the game well, it increases the heaviness. Yeah, but yeah, when you're moving them down, you take them down, and then depending on which slot they are, is that. Basically, that action's more powerful. Right. And you can supplement that with things or whatever. But, yeah, you're putting them down. You're putting your enclosures down. There's different size enclosures for different animals. Different animals do different things. Yep. It's pretty thematic,
the monkeys,
really.
Though.
Yeah.
I love the monkeys.
It's pretty thematic, really, I think, in general. Yeah. Looking forward to an expansion.
I think it's cool how, like, too, when you want to, I think it's you refresh or whatever, you do, like, a break, and it has a little coffee cup.
Yeah, a little coffee break.
And it moves on, like, the coffee break track. Come on. Like, what? That's so cute. I love those.
Yeah, it's got the counter-rotating tracks, and once they cross.
That is so cool. So, the other day, we were describing to our friend, I'm like, oh, hi, how high did you score on Ark Nova? And he's like, I was about, like, this. And if you've played the game, you know what that means. And so we're all like, I was like right here.
The distance between the two.
I think I've only ever gotten like right here. Otherwise I'm like here. And you'll know. It's so I love it. It's such a cool track.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Anyways, that's my
good one. Should be higher again. Okay. Man, your list stinks.
All right. Here we go.
All right, on to number 8. All right, number 8.
I
is a roll and write game for me.
Okay, Hadrian's Wall.
That came out earlier.
Dang it, Three Sisters. Oh. I'm just gonna say all the roll and writes that I know. I know what it is. Riverside.
No, that came out a while ago too. Twilight Inscription.
Oh my gosh! Why didn't I guess this one?
I know you do not like this one. But you liked it better the second time you played, right?
I did better the second time around.
But you still don't like it?
No.
All right, I love it.
I can't.
I love it. It's a big to-do roll and write. There's 4 boards. You're marking all sorts of stuff off. You get to choose one board at a time, so you can really only ever write on one board. Mm-hmm. Now you can get assets that are called on one board and then use them on another board. So like I might be able to get assets on this board over here, but then when I activate this board, I can then. Are you okay?
Bless me. Sorry. Came
and then I can use the assets from there to activate something on here. Like either there's like 2 special abilities basically on each one.
Oh,
there's
I know.
also some ways of unlocking stuff. There's just all sorts of different ways of kind of moving, and there's like comboing after you get to the end, and I love how it feels.
I know, and I love a roll and write, a flip and write. That is one of my favorites, but I love them because they're simple and they make you feel good about life and your life choices.
But you like Hadrian's Wall quite a bit.
Hadrian's Wall is so stressful, but I love it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, fill it out.
I think weight-wise, they're about the same.
They might be, but for some reason in my mind, Hadrian's Wall feels right.
Sure.
Twilight Inscription is not.
Okay. I like it a lot. I like the orange. Oh, the orange is hard to get off, but we figured out a better way to get it off with. But the little orange just kind of makes it pop, which is just like a little.
The color, it looks beautiful. I've taken lots of pictures of that game. We played it a few times. It looks amazing on the table.
And I think there's a lot of aspects of it that do feel like Twilight Imperium. Obviously, they're vastly different games, okay? But, you have the council meeting, you're trying to get to Mechatol Rex, you have the little battle thing, so you're actually, like, drawing out
much
ships.
To do. Yeah.
And then if you have more ships than the other person, you get points and things like that. So I think they did a pretty decent job of making a game that big into a roll.
I agree, and as much as I don't like it, I can appreciate why it's so good. I understand why you like it. I get it, and I wish I was there with you, but I'm not.
I'm surprised a little bit, because you like roll and writes.
I know.
But anyway, that's fine.
Okay, my number, what are we on? 8. Ooh, okay, so I actually had something else there, and I was like, I don't know. And then we played this one, 2 days ago?
Okay.
And I was like, that was so fun. And it surprised the ever-living heck out of me. Wonderland's War.
Yeah. I figured you would like it. And it's been, like, I had played it a couple times, and then you just never had a chance to. But I knew you'd like this one.
Its main thing, okay, it's push your luck bag building, and I love that. And it feels like Quacks. I love that. You do things to kind of combo. I think Quacks does it a little better with the comboing of specific chits together.
They do have 4 different ways of using them, like Quacks does, too.
I don't know,
so you might like one combination over the other.
Yeah, I think that's just what it feels more powerful in Quacks for some reason. I don't know. But the game is battling. You want the majority in areas, and you're going around this board, this little Alice in Wonderland crazy Mad Hatter tea party, to get cards that give you things to put power in places so that then you go to the fight round. So as you do all that, so that you can battle it out and see who gets majority. And I normally hate that kind of stuff. Well, I keep saying that in this top 10. Maybe I don't hate area control as much as I I just don't like when you take over.
Yeah, well, this one's not like a direct conflict necessarily, because you'll each have like a certain amount of people in there. So you like kind of stack your odds, right? But you're still at the mercy of how well you built your bag, and then just kind of the luck of building
exactly.
it.
Right? There is luck to it.
That's a bag building.
One guy who I posted about, I'm like, this was so much fun. He's like, I didn't like how lucky. I'm like, that's what it is, though. It's
I mean, there is part of that, but that's kind of the point, right?
It's the point. It's supposed to be fluffy and
But so as you pull out bad chips, then you lose people. So you could win with one person. You could just be like pulling out every good chip.
Gosh, that terrible move I made. Everyone's like, why'd you stop fighting? I'm like, I don't know.
But then the more good chips you pull out, you go to the next one. Maybe you have a lot of people in the next one, and maybe you lose all of those people.
Sometimes you want to bow out of the battle because you want to win those points in the next one.
Yeah, sure.
It's really good.
Yeah. But like maybe you'll have like a whole bunch of people in this next one, and then you have nothing but bad chips left before your bag refreshes, and
so
you lose
just getting
all of
rid
them.
Of your guys.
So it's kind of like, I think it somewhat evens out because you are doing 5 battles.
Totally.
So anyway, that's a good choice.
It's so fun.
I like that one a lot.
Really like it.
Yep.
So,
all right.
Number 8.
Number 7. All right, this is our number 7. The list is starting to get pretty good.
I'd say it's really good because it is the top 10.
I know.
Let's remember.
But only number 7 of 10.
Oh yeah, that's true. So not that good.
Mine is one that you have recently talked about.
Okay, and
Quite recently.
Ark Nova.
Very recently. Extremely recently.
What's the game?
Your number 8.
I know. I can't.
Wonderland's War. Wonderland's War.
Oh my gosh, that was number 9. Wonderland's War.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that made your list.
Are you? Okay, so I played it the first time.
Okay.
At a convention. I'm like, this is a good game. It's a good game. Good game. Good game. Good game. Good game.
Oh, is that how many times you said it that day?
Oh my gosh, it's a good game.
You just stood there and said that for an hour?
And we played it again recently.
Yes, we did. That was fun.
And I'm like, this is good.
You had a lot of good things to say.
I did.
Obviously, we already kind of described the game.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing?
I like how you're obviously building up your bag with certain things, and you're kind of trying to make it better and stuff. So I like quacks quite a bit. This one just adds an extra little element to it because of the fighting and putting things out. And choosing kind of which things you want, not based off of where you are in a round or how far you've gotten the previous round. You're going there because you just get to go around and pick the card that you want. So you're a little bit more selective about what you want at the time.
Right.
So there is a little bit of maybe I can't quite build it up exactly how I want it, but I want to be able to set out multiple people because those cards will let you set out how many people you can, and that'll give you 1 or 2 things
for the battling.
And so it's just a lot of there's quite a few interesting decisions as you're walking around, as you're going around trying to figure out what you want, and then how you draw them, when you want to stop, because if you stop at certain times, you're like, you know what, I don't think I'm going to win this, but I've stopped on a forge spot, or I've stopped on at 10, which will let me fulfill a quest.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're kind of like pushing your luck just enough to get to certain points and things. So I think it's a super solid game.
I think that's something I didn't touch on before when I discussed Wonderland.
Okay, well you have the time to do it now.
Well, yeah, it was the quest cards.
Yeah,
I
the
like
quest
that.
cards. Yeah,
and you can pick them up throughout the game. Pick 2, choose 1, kind of a thing. And there's an immediate. If you fulfill this right away, you score the points. And then there's a bottom thing that's an end game thing. And if you do both of the same ones on the card, that's an additional 3 points. So it does feel rewarding. I whipped around that board a couple times. It was fun. It felt very.
I like it quite a bit.
Yeah, it was light, but like good choices. Yeah, it was great. Good
decisions.
choice.
Good decisions.
My number 7.
Your number 7
is Flamecraft.
Okay.
Flamecraft.
Okay.
Are you surprised by this, or is it just the number, like being at 7?
I thought this might be higher on your list.
There were so many good games.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to be surprised then. I knew this would be on your list.
I remember the first time Flamecraft was even mentioned, like 2 years ago or something, and it was like,
oh yeah, you saw that bread dragon.
Yes, somebody was freaking out about the toast, and I'm like, there's toast in the game, and there's a little butter on it. Oh my gosh! So it's as cute as the hype suggested. It's adorable.
Solid. It's solid.
It's a very good game. Oh my gosh, I think I've played it 5 or 6 times. You're just a cute little dragon in this little town. You're gathering resources to either enchant is one of the movements. Enchant a store, grab a scoring card from the middle and like achieve that and gain points. Or you can just kind of move your dragon around from shop to shop, picking up resources.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, there's like tags that you can put on. So if you go here, you can take one of your cards and tuck it up and the corner of the card. So if you go there again or someone else goes there, now there's 2 of that icon, so you can get 2 of those resources. It's a fun game. I love it.
So that's enough noise where I have to feel that we have to tell that our 6-year-old's throwing a fit upstairs.
You know
but
what?
Anyway, so Flamecraft.
Our 6-year-old screaming. Dun-dun-dun,
but yeah,
light.
it's a simplistic game, right?
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing, right? I think that's fine. I think you have to have those games, especially for a lot of situations.
Yes, you do.
But
so well
it's basically just gathering resources and turning them in for the little enchantment cards or the end game cards or whatever. And they have like gold cards and stuff. I do like the fact that they have ones that you can kind of do during the game and ones that you're kind of working towards the end of the game.
Oh, those are so cute. Yeah, with the sun and moon.
Yeah, the artisan dragons as they're called. But
fancy.
Yeah, it's a super solid game. Fancy
I
dragons?
think those are the fancy dragons.
Okay, yeah. I think you're right.
Maybe we're both.
But you know, it's a super solid game. You can kind of pick it up, play with anybody, and I think you're right. It's just a solid, quick, fun game.
Yep.
Let's do number 6. All right, guys. Here is number 6. My number 6 is a new Uwe game.
Oh, that's not it. Oh, Atiwa.
Atiwa.
Oh, that's such a good choice, babe.
I want to put this higher, but there's just so many good games. Again, so many of these games I want to put higher, but no. So yeah, I wasn't sure where this is going to be. I think this is the right spot for it, though. Atiwa, affectionately known in our household and amongst our friend group as the Bat Poop game. Because one of the actions basically is like a bonus action that you can do. You can take your bats, they eat fruit,
yeah, they do.
And then they fly away, and basically when they poop, it poops out a tree.
Yeah.
So the quick mechanic of it's not called the... It's obviously not called that in the game, but that's essentially what it is, right? Because, you know, that's how you're growing fruit trees. And it's actually very thematic, and Uwe did a bunch of research on this. There's even like a little booklet involved on how some of the mechanics are. So it seems quite thematic.
Yep.
But essentially you have your own little resource pool, which I think is kind of cool. Instead of reaching around and grabbing them, you have this research pool.
I do love that, yeah.
And you have to, and you're building up this tableau of different cards. And as you acquire resources through different actions, and also during the phase at the end of the game, like the maintenance phase, essentially, you get things out and you put them on your board. Well, you have to have spots for them on your board, and each board will have a certain combination of goats, wild animals, fruit trees, fruit, bats, houses, things like that. And you'll get those, and you get to put them out on your board. If you don't have room for them, you forfeit them, but as you get more wild animals out, you get more trees. As you get more trees, you get more fruit. As you get more fruit, you get more bats.
Comboing, y'all.
So as you kind of grab them off, you can actually get more than what you would have started with into the phase. So it's just a really cool way of doing that and managing all of that and putting them back and forth, because you do have to spend them and you get them back.
Yeah.
It's just a really cool kind of push-pull thing of that whole mechanic. And then there's houses that you have for the families, and you get a bunch of points for having a bunch of families out and that. It's just
isn't it worker placement really cool. Too? Like you put your guy out. You have 3 guys per round, and you all once per turn put a guy out and get the thing you land on. Yeah, I think. Right, and it has this sliding middle board. I love
you'll put something on there, and then it'll slide over, and the next round it'll be a different combination. So there's the different tiles, and then there's the pre-printed stuff on the bottom. So as they move down, they have a slightly different combination.
It's a fantastic game. I actually just talked to Uwe the other day. I reached out to him on Facebook, and then we ended up having a chat for the longest time. And he said he put a lot of research into that game. And you can tell it's very thematic. Your turns are very meaningful, and it has everything to do with feeding the bats and sending them out and getting trees. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's so good, actually. I really recommend this one quite a bit.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, my number 6 is Hamburg. It's one of the new Stefan Feld collection games. I think he's literally calling the collection.
The City Collection, yeah.
City Collection, yeah. So Amsterdam's one of them. I loved Hamburg, and I know you didn't like it a lot. I don't know what it was. Well, there was something you were saying about it. Everything you do in the game is with cards. There are tons of cards. The pile of cards is as big
Hamburg's
as
remake of
Terraforming Mars.
Yeah.
Right, which I've not played, but I've heard that. Tons of cards, and you use the actions on the cards. You actually can discard. You have to discard the cards to do certain actions. There's things
they're multi-use cards,
things that'll happen during the game where you have to tidy up or clean it up. Another slidey thing. I love that. It's when damage is done or your people get sick, you got to slide. Yeah, the disasters come out, and then you got to heal them and slide them back over. So you got to kind of watch that. I think one of the negative things you were saying about it is that if you don't happen to draw, because it is chancy. I'm I'll take a yellow. Yeah. I think you're drawing up to 5 every time, so you just take any combination of the color cards you want. And you were saying it's a little chancy that you might not draw a combo that helps you really, but the person next to you could.
It was more that, now that I had played it, in future plays, I wanted to make sure that, I was doing some of the cheaper cards.
Yeah.
And that wasn't necessarily the best idea. It almost seemed like you got to get at least a couple of more expensive cards out there so you can really utilize them throughout the game and stuff.
Yeah.
So, not that I didn't like it, but it's just, when I played it wrong.
Like
I
any game, the more you play it, the more you get to know it, the more you know what you're doing. But this one, very much so. This one is very much, okay, I did that wrong. So, but for some reason, that felt so exciting to me. Yeah. And I love dual-purpose cards.
I'm surprised. And there's not even dual purpose. It's 6 purposes.
Oh yeah, that's right, 6. 6 purpose cards.
Yeah, no, I like that part. That's my favorite part. Definitely how you use the cards and which ones you're going to use and stuff.
Very fun.
It's just now that I knew more about it, in future plays, it was
Well, I think
definitely
too
able to
that's
get...
part of your I gotta do things efficiently personality. Is you're like you didn't feel like you could because you didn't know. And I'm just like, cool. This card does 6 things.
It's not that I didn't feel like I couldn't be efficient. It's just that it's just how I kind of structure the game and would, because a lot of games you kind of buy cheaper stuff and then you work up to more expensive stuff.
Yeah.
And in this, I think it's more of a you gotta get certain cards out at the beginning that help you early, and you gotta make sure. And since you are only playing maybe a couple of cards for their actual use of the cards per turn, because there's so many ways of using it, I just should have almost saved up some to get certain cards out that I had versus just kind of going, oh, I can't afford this right now. That's all. Just
so there you have it. Now you know how to play Hamburg.
Just do
it that way, and then you'll like it more.
Playing it, no, that's a good choice. That's a good choice. I like that one. All right,
I love it.
All right, we're getting number 5 next. My number 5 starts with a dub.
A W.
You should get this one.
I know. You know what? I was gonna say Wonderland's War.
It's on the top left.
Woodcraft.
Yeah. Oh, how'd you guess?
I don't know. All of our games are right there. That's why, if you see us like aimlessly looking over there,
because we've replayed a lot of them around this time frame. We've played, and things
they're
like
all
that.
Right there, so that's why we're looking over there.
Yeah.
Okay, Woodcraft. Excellent choice.
Yeah, I like this one quite a bit.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So it's all about dice manipulation, and I like a good dice manipulator.
Yeah.
But this one is that's the whole point. There's no dice rolling even. It's just upping and so dice is kind of you don't even need the dice really. But I mean I get the point of it. But
no, yeah, you do. You're splitting them and. Oh, what else would you use? Cards?
No, I know. I'm
what
just
else
saying.
Would you use?
No, I think it's great.
Do they just do that to appeal to the dice?
I mean,
people?
the only rolling is just to set the market.
Right. Does the game actually call it a dice rolling game?
No,
you don't really.
No,
okay,
no.
So
but
you manipulate it.
I'm just saying that so many of them you roll them and then you have to manipulate the ones whatever you roll from there. And this one is very much there's a million ways of making these things go up and down, and that's what I like about it.
Yep. What a great
you can kind of grow them in your tree and have them grow and grow and grow.
Yep.
You can take a saw and split a dice in half, not literally, but take a 4 pip and split it into any two, like a 1 and 3, 2 and 2, or whatever. Right. And because you're trying to fulfill orders with these dice, it has to be a specific number and a specific color, and it can't be over, it can't be less, it has to be exact. So you have to even, so 6s aren't any more powerful than 1s, really.
Right.
I mean, they are more expensive because you can obviously make them into smaller ones, but they're not in themselves.
Exactly, because you need different numbers for different orders.
Right.
So.
And if you're going to get a number 6, you have to pay for it, or you have to grow it.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of cool thing. But then you split them and then you get them into these things, and you can also glue pieces together.
I love it. There's little wood glue.
Yeah, there's little wood glue pieces. You can glue those together. There's sawing them apart, of course, like I said. And there's actually wood filler essentially, where you take scrap wood and make it slightly bigger. So it's just all sorts of ways of manipulating this thing. And it's got this cool rondelle. I guess it is rondelle. Yeah, it's rondelle with these little pie pieces. Yeah. And you put them into the length, and then it'll advance this saw blade mechanic thing that's in the middle. And then if you do the same action multiple times, like other people, because you're collectively moving these things, you'll start getting bonuses on some of the ones that haven't been used yet. So some of the ones that haven't been used yet get more powerful. So you're like, maybe I'll do that just for the bonuses.
So good, guys.
I like this one a lot.
Wow, he's out of breath. That's a good one.
Yeah, this one's really good. I like this one a
lot. The only negative thing about it that I would say, and this is the most non-thing, so everybody just calm down.
Uh-oh.
Some of the art's a little weird. The art in general... Okay, no, let me start over. The art is great. The art, or the wood people...
Yeah, the huge fan of them
they
for
make
some
me
reason.
feel weird. I feel like they should be forest critters or
What? I think they are forest critters.
They're like people, though.
What do you know?
I don't know. Okay, my number 5.
Yes.
Is Planet Unknown, and we've already pretty much discussed it
was a crossover.
in detail.
Okay, I wasn't sure that would be a crossover.
But it's just a fantastic game. I've played it a bunch of times, and as we discussed before, it comes with a bunch of different boards, so every time you're playing, it feels like a fresh game.
Yeah, we've talked about that one.
And I love that. So I didn't say this before, but the main board that you take your polyomino pieces from is a Lazy Susan. Yep. So it spins.
So it's not in the deluxe. That's only in the deluxe version.
It is? Wow.
Now, they have this
We're
deluxe,
so pampered with
They
our
sell
friends.
the deluxe version now, I think, at retail, I think. But I almost went to pick it up, and I'm like, wait a minute, it doesn't have the Lazy Susan?
Okay.
I'm usually not a big I don't really care usually.
Right.
But that is such a functional part of the game.
Yes, it is.
Otherwise, you're like stacking them up, and then you have to like. Yeah.
Exactly, because you have to choose a polyomino piece that is in front of you. It's where your arrow is pointing, your little cardboard arrow.
Right. So whoever's the first player gets to spin it.
Yeah, they twist it to where they want it, and then you are at the mercy of what they've chosen. It's just such a it's a fantastic game. I love the little rovers and the little personal objectives you can do. It's just such a great game.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
And it's quicker, so it's easy to
pretty
teach
quick.
the game.
Yeah.
But it does get complicated depending on what kind of board you use. I will say.
Yeah, I mean, if you use
that's
like the
where it
base
gets more
board and the
complex.
base thing, but you can, that's the thing, you can intermingle those because everybody can have a different one. So you can give like a newer player the base starting ones, and then you can kind of work on something else.
The dummies.
Yeah, the dummies. Yeah, that's right. No, that's a solid
number
choice.
5.
I wasn't sure if that's would make your list or not. I
love
know
it.
you liked it, but
Yeah.
Good choice.
Really,
I like it.
really
I like
good
it.
game.
All right. Now we're getting into the top 4 now.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Oh my
This is
gosh.
getting
All right.
intense.
All right. Number 4. Here we come. All right, guys. Number 4. Stuff's really heating up. Things are getting good.
I know it is.
Number 4. Resurgence.
My gosh, another Kordonsky game.
Yeah.
Stan Kordonsky.
Stan Kordonsky.
It's a great game.
I've liked pretty much every game he's ever come up with.
It's so true, though.
He just makes
what
super
game of his
solid
do I
stuff.
not like? I don't know. You should be paying us to say this. Stan, you owe us.
Stan. Yeah. No,
What do you like
super
about it?
good.
What's your fave?
So it's bag building. So you're kind of building it up and putting the things out.
Yeah.
So you have this board and it's covered, right? So and you have 3 different sections that you can go to.
Hidden information.
So there's like 2 sections on the board. There's the harbor, and then there's the I can't remember the actual name of it, but the other one. Oh. There's the harbor area, and then there's like it's like the downtown metro. Okay, so there's harbor and metro, so it's basically split up into 4 things, and then there's districts within those, and those districts more matter for other cards. But you will pre-apply where you want your people to go. You can also apply them to your home board, because you can upgrade your home board and do like personal actions there. So that's all cool.
Very cool.
So as you put them out, sometimes when people are going out, you're like, well, where do I want to go first? Well, I got to make sure that I go here before somebody else does. Now, it's not like a full blocking, because if you go somewhere, I can spend like a food or a resource or whatever to go there. But sometimes you don't have that.
That's true.
So it's kind of like, I got to go here before somebody else. So I like the interaction with that. Now, there are a bunch of cards that are called specialists that you can acquire throughout the game. And sometimes they will help you get more resources, or they'll help you say you can switch a metro person to a harbor person or something like that. So there is some like manipulation in that as well. And I'm all about manipulation.
Yeah, you are.
I think we talked about that already with Woodcraft. But it's just a solid game. It's got like it's like a post-apocalyptic thing. So there's like some zombies and like things like that involved.
Yeah, the big wolves. Wolverines.
That kind of just populate the area so that it's harder to go to. But then you have to do different missions and things. So you'll go out to a certain district. You have to go out to that district, pay the resources. Just super solid game.
I like the home board, how you clear the rubble, and when you clear the rubble away, there's a surprise like bonus on the end, the back side of the tile, and then you've cleared a room, which gives you like another ability or something that can help you during the game. It's really cool. It's really it's a fun game. Oh my gosh, don't look at me like that.
Also not on your list.
I don't.
Well, Endless Winter was so low. I don't see why.
That is true. That's true.
No, but Resurgence, super solid game. So it's his first self-published game. So it doesn't get as much wide appeal as some of his other games, because it's just, he's kind of a first time.
Yep.
So there's always
just the nature of it. It's just fantastic.
The Kickstarter fulfilled really well. He's got another one coming up. So check that out. He's got some good stuff. I like his stuff.
He does. All right, my number 4 is Atiwa. It's so good.
See, I knew this would be on your list. You were talking about this quite a bit.
It's so okay. One thing that we were all kind of laughing about is like one of the ways that you can get bats is by having, how do they put it, an educated family? They like educate the families on how to take care of the bats so they can live in the home with them, so that they can eat the fruit and go out and get the tree and come back.
Right. So basically the educated people know how valuable bats are.
They know how valuable the bats are.
Like the uneducated people will they'll even eat bats.
They'll eat their bats, which we just thought it was hilarious. But it is, I love the, how did you call it? The
it's just like your own personal resource board or whatever.
Yeah. I forget exactly what you call them, whatever. So it's all there. It's on your little thing. You put your worker out, you take the things, you put your wild animals onto the board. You can use those to feed your people because there is a feed your people aspect, which I would say it's not punishing. It's not super hard, but it's there. It's something that's there.
You feel it sometimes.
But I like that. I like feed your people. I like that in a game when it's like you can do it, but it's a little scary at the same time. And this game's really good at that.
Yeah, you never feel like you. Well, I shouldn't say never, but you don't really feel like you can't feed them.
Yeah.
You more feel like, oh man,
I had to use it for that. I have to do
like you have the goats that give you milk.
Yeah.
And they're worth 3 food, but you don't want to kill them because they're like, well, they give me milk every turn, so I'm like that'll help feed them.
Yeah.
And you don't want to use too many. You can use fruit, but you don't want to use too many fruit because you need fruit for other things.
I know.
So it's kind of like, I can feed them, but maybe
really well
maybe you
done.
guys could just live off some rations for the next.
Yeah, can you guys just like?
You guys just skip a meal, maybe.
It's fantastic. You can feel the amount of research that went into it. It feels thematic. I love Uwe games in general.
Yeah,
I think I'm loving them more and more.
Honestly, Uwe is probably one of my favorite singular designers. Yeah.
For real, yeah.
And Stan Krasinski, actually.
Well, which, hey, look
I'm not just saying that, but I really do like his games.
So that's my number 4. Really fun.
I think that's an excellent choice, Ellen.
Thank you so much.
All right, we are now going to get to our top 3 of the year, the upper echelon of 2022. All right, guys, the best of the best.
Top 3.
The top 3. This
one
is a
big moment.
I was not sure it was going to be this high, but after kind of just going through it and thinking of the scenarios and my enjoyment of the genre.
Of the genre? That's very telling.
Of the genre.
Oh, am I looking right at it? It's Heat.
I would say you're looking, yes.
It's Heat.
Heat, pedal to the metal.
Gosh, pedal to the metal.
My favorite all-round racing game.
Really?
Yeah, I've decided. I've thought about it. I've decided. I've made a decree. There are elements that I like of other games better and things, but just all around, all together, my favorite. It comes with 6 right out the box.
Yep.
Play 6, right out of the box. They're moving it to 8 at some point here.
It's right there. That's why we're looking again.
Right. It comes with 4 boards. So that's one thing that I think is obviously absolutely fine, is that they are pre-printed boards versus, say, like a Flamme Rouge, where you can kind of make whatever tracks you want.
Yep.
And I do like the individual elements of Flamme Rouge, where they have like the cobblestone and the uphill, downhill, and things like that. So I missed that. I'm not sure that you could do that for Heat necessarily anyway, and I'm sure they won't since they are full boards now, but maybe they'll have some like off-road tracks or something like that. I think that would be pretty cool to have. Something along those lines, do like a rallyman kind of a thing. I don't know.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Who knows what they'll come up with, but you never feel quite out of that game. Like, you could be behind at the beginning, get a slow start.
That is so
and then
true.
Next thing you know, they're like in first or second place because it's just how it works. It's just how the things come in. You get more cooling when you're in lower gears. So you're selecting gears. You're getting these, which I think is the best part, the upgrade parts that you draft at the beginning of the game that will let you go faster around a corner, but maybe it causes more heat.
Right.
Or sometimes it's causing more stress. I could talk about it for a while, but it's just probably the best all-round racing game.
It did feel nail-bitey, too. Like, you find yourself being like, oh my gosh, okay, I gotta have the right car. That's a very fun feeling. It feels big, and it feels important, and your moves feel like, okay, here we go. Yeah. Like, it's got that anticipation.
And I have not had this game that long, and I played it 5 or 6 times.
You have?
Yeah.
I've played it twice.
I've played it a whole bunch.
I loved it both times.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, it's just like we had people that were like spun out twice in a game, and usually like spinning out once in a game is like detrimental. Like you can't come back from that, so you have to play like ultra conservative. This one you can like play tight. You can always kind of like add these heat cards, and that's the crux of it. You have a certain amount of heat cards, and they kind of go into your deck. Only way you can get rid of them is by cooling, either by special cards or being in lower gears and things. And so you kind of want to go. You land here, and you go, oh man, I want to go. I need to go a little bit further to kind of stay in the mix. So you'll push your car slightly faster in this one instance.
Ooh, I love that.
Or you'll shift gears up twice, exciting. And you're like just this hand management thing of like, oh, I got some low cards. I can stay in a high gear around this corner because I have low cards. but then it'll be good because I'm accelerating to this big long
now,
straight.
you are an F1 guy.
Yeah.
And you know a lot about like how the heat works with the tires and all that. Do you feel like
it's thematic, but it's not like it's not like
detailed.
championship Formula racing, which is very much a kind of like a
that's like more
simulation
technical,
kind of a game
with the car and all
They
that.
got a new one coming out called Pole Position that I think I might get to. I did a little bit of research on
is that one like heat? Just racing?
I'm not going to get into it. It is racing.
Okay.
I'm not going to get into that one because that's not this list, but that one looks really cool coming out. So I like the simulation aspect.
Yep.
Championship Formula Racing is just too kind of, not complex even, but it's just like, it's a little clunky.
Yeah, okay.
But this one I think is just the best all-round heat. Yeah, best all-round race game. You never feel like you're out of it.
And plus, the little cars in it are super cute.
Good quality.
Little tiny cars.
Good quality, yeah. I like it.
Okay, my number 3 is Creature Comforts.
Okay.
You know what? I will say, the year of 2022 for me has been a year of really enjoying lighter but fun choices. More medium weight to lighter weight games that play a little bit faster. Okay, that's been my thing this year. Really, I've just been finding solace and being like, I know what I'm going to do, and it feels feathery and light, and I'm happy, and it's relaxing, and I'm not stressed out. Okay, so Creature Comforts is great. First of all, it's adorable. Love the art. You are gathering resources and you're spending resources. There's some set collection stuff. You can buy cards in the market area that work with other cards, so there's kind of that thing going on, getting more points for if you have the rocking chair, and then you later can go to the market and buy the quilt, that combination. So it's cute in that way. It's like you have your little chair and your quilt, and then if you can do like games too is one of the categories. You can kind of set collection that.
Yeah, I like how the dice.
Different seasons and
I like how you're placing the dice, how you roll, and you can do a little bit of manipulation with the little band-aids because if you like mess up, or if you can't do an action or don't want to,
what do they call
it
again in the game? I forget.
It's mistakes, little mistake or something like that.
I
can't remember. It's something.
Mistakes made. I don't know.
Mistakes made. Yeah, I don't know. But you can apply them to them, and you're kind of like you're pre-applying your people, and you're like kind of somewhat hoping that your dice can do it.
Yeah.
But you already know going into it certain dice that you'll be able to do based off of different things that you have. So it's kind of like a. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get this to happen, but if it doesn't, I can kind of
So it's got a tiny bit of push your luck there because you might not be able to actually use those die. But what's cool is those main die that everybody has their own die, but the main ones that you roll, everyone's using those. So you don't like re-roll them. Now it's your turn to re-roll the die. Everybody is looking at those, and that's what everybody gets.
That's right. You get to roll your own dice first. Yes. And that's why you know that some of the...
And you allocate your own, hoping that the others can fill in where you might not have enough.
Yeah, you're hoping that the global roll will kind of help you. But like a couple of places that you'll be able to complete, for instance. But
and so then every round there's a new character that you flip over, and he gives you kind of a benefit, or I think there's a couple I don't know if I don't think there's any negative stuff in this game. I think that's why I like it.
Like negative? What do you mean negative?
Like you flip it over, everybody this turn loses 6 wood or whatever.
No, it's just all something that you can do.
It's just something you can do.
Yeah, I don't recall any negatives in it. Yeah.
I tell you, I think I've played that game 5 times.
You've played a bunch, yeah. You played a bunch, yeah.
And every time I'm like, that was delightful, and I want to play delightful games. Okay, it's a hobby.
That's good.
Stop stressing out with these heavy games. No, I like a heavy game too.
Well, then you won't like the next two.
Ark Nova made the list as well. I will remind you.
Yep.
Number 3.
All right, so we got 2 left.
On to number 2.
Number 2. All right, guys, my number 2 is another W game.
Yes, it is, and it is Wayfarers of the South Tigris.
Yes. Oh, I love that game. Oh, it's so good.
What do you like about it?
Everything.
I know.
I really like this one.
You know what? It's also my number 2.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about it
together.
Is it
really?
It's my number 2.
An actual... true cross.
That was like a weird double clap.
Oh, did you want a double clap?
No, not at all. It just happened. It was magic. That's how excited we were.
You're like repelled from me.
I couldn't help it. It's fine. I wanted to talk a lot about it anyway. So, what do you like about it?
Perfect. So the little central board in the middle is my favorite thing.
Absolutely.
So you're building
That's
up
what I was gonna say.
these cards, and every card is upgradable. So you have like these land cards, you have these sea cards, you have these star cards, and each one of those cards is available or upgradable. And you have workers that are like global workers, meaning that if I put it out, somebody else can pick it up. And you have your own dice. And so you're using your dice, and you can build up your dice with this little chart thing. Okay. I won't go into it too much, but basically your dice only start with like only 2 of your dice really start off with any specific characteristics. Now, there are places you can go that don't require a characteristic. It doesn't require like a tag or a symbol. But as you go along, you can pick up these chips and lay them into this grid pattern. So I pick up this and it goes, okay, well now, anytime I roll a 4, it can be +1, -1. Or every time I roll a 4, it's a camel and a bird.
Right.
And so then...
I love that. I love that little grid on the side.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
And what that die does lets you be able to place it into your little section of your little tableau here so that you can do those different actions. And the whole middle board basically relies on you having certain combinations of cards. And sometimes some influence, because there is like a whole kind of like a area influence type thing towards the end. Which isn't like a ton of the game and not a ton of points.
I know, I really focused on that the first game, and I'm like, I guess I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you some points, and maybe that might be just enough.
It's majority. I was thinking it was 3 points per influence you have in there. I'm like, this is Mondo points, and then like it ended up not.
But you're putting stuff in there to try to get the influence so you can win. But then again, you can use them for their little abilities as well.
So sometimes you'll find yourself being like, oh, I'm going to tap into that one and just take it out, but I'll be fine later.
I'll worry about it later.
Oh, yeah. But I love, so when you start the game, when you get to the end, it's a track, and you have to have the prerequisite to go into the next space in order to progress on the map. So if you have 2 choices, the journal, if you have 2 choices and you're like closer to one than the other, you got to start looking on the board of how to get the next thing to progress to that way of the map. But beware to watch ahead, because then it might send you along a path that you have nothing for. Right. So you really got to watch where you're going on this map. And when you get to the end of it, the game's over. Yeah. So you don't really want to rush to it. Like you could never really fly through that game. There's so many things you have to do in order to progress. But you could rush it a little bit. Like if you, I don't know, if you played perfectly or gathered exactly what you need, but you don't necessarily want to do that because you want to exploit the time you have. And normally those kinds of games like wig me out and I can't wrap my brain around it. But I tell you, for Christmas, Randy got me a little notebook. And it says Ellen's board game notebook. And I keep notes in it for my actual turns. And there's like an entire page filled up of turns that I had to take, because I was losing track of like what I have to do. But it's a really fun, angsty feeling. I love it.
It's solid, no question. I really like
Let's
this
play it
one.
again.
But yeah, you're like kind of moving along. You kind of see if somebody's going to kind of push towards. You can see if they're kind of building up to rush it. And you don't have to get to the end. Like you can do well by getting close to the end by doing other things better.
That's what triggers it. Yeah.
Especially if you're getting like certain combination of cards. If you're really more worried about building up more of a better engine or just a better way of being able to place your dice every time, you can get enough points doing it that way than having to worry about like the extra.
Yeah, the end does not mean a win at all.
Yeah. I mean, all of the games we've played, that has been the winner. So I think it is important, but I don't think it's completely necessary.
No, that's not.
Because we had one where I won, and the person next to me was like maybe 5 or 6 points away.
Yeah, I mean, he
was actually like 4 steps behind, I think, even. So.
Well, because sometimes you think you're like, this is I gotta get this now, but then somebody else will have something, and then you end up doing endgame scoring. And you're like, I didn't have it. I've seen it done. I've heard a lot of people tell me. I thought I was gonna win that one. I ended it, and no.
All these cards are all around, and then next to each card, you have the worker placement spots. Yes. And so they have all sorts of different combinations of getting tiles, getting cards, getting money, getting provisions,
That took me a little while to wrap my brain around.
But as you do the action, it goes on the card. So if you ever do pick up the card, that is like one way of getting like the little meeples that come with it so you can do other actions.
Super clever.
So it's kind of like a cool way of like getting extra turns, essentially, to an effect. Because you can do just as much with little bits of turns. That's what's so cool about it. It's like there's so many little aspects of it that you can do better. Not have to worry about, try to pursue this, try to pursue that. Yeah, it's a solid game.
That's why I have a notebook. Because I was like, I'm going to do that. And then I forgot I was doing it because I got sidetracked over here. But in the best way.
Yep, that's good.
It's very, very good.
All right, so those are number 2s.
Wayfarers.
Nice. All right, so what's the number 1 going to be for you? You have to know mine at this point. Don't spoil it, but you have to know mine at this point. I kind of spoiled it a while ago.
I think I know it.
Because I haven't talked about it yet. And I mentioned how much I like it.
Oh, gosh. Oh, I know what yours is. Oh, yeah. I know what yours is.
I don't know what yours is.
Stay tuned.
If I really put my head to it, I probably could think about it. But I'll just be surprised.
Let's just be surprised.
All right, on to number 1. All right, guys. The creme de la creme.
Creme de la creme.
The top game. The best game.
The best game I'm sitting here
You're
trying
wrong
to think
on
of
this
what
one.
I don't know what yours is, and I feel like once you say it, I'll be like,
stop.
oh my gosh.
You don't know what it is?
No.
Shut
Wait, can you give me
it.
a hint?
Stan the Man.
Okay.
Come on.
Endless winter.
Endless winter. Yep, absolutely.
Babe, that is so complimentary to Stan.
So good.
I feel like this video has been a Stan video.
I've had 2 of his games on there. Sure. Yeah, they're fantastic. Credit where credit is due.
Right.
Yeah, no, we talked about Endless Winter quite a bit, but I love it. I didn't give my biggest loves of it, I guess. So the expansions are great so far. Like, we haven't played the cave painting ones, but like the little river rafting one, I enjoyed that one a lot.
Yeah.
The rafts and
I have
rivers.
not tried that yet.
Yeah, so it's just kind of another way of kind of plotting things out. One little thing about it, though, is like you're not as competitive with the pieces out there, which is not to say good or bad.
A little solitary.
But it's kind of just it gives you enough to go, okay, well, how do you like playing the game? Or not how you like playing the game, but what do you like adding to the game, which is kind of cool. So I don't feel compelled to throw everything in like I typically do with a game. I usually like going, I'll throw it all in there. Okay. So it's kind of cool. You kind of tailor things, but yeah, you can go out hunting to get little animals, and you do the set collection. But then you're like, you got the set collection of these glyptodons, and you're like, man, I'm gonna get some good points for these things. And you're like, but if I kill it,
I always kill the glyptodons. They give you so much meat.
Gives me lots of food. You know, some of them give you like movement. Some of them like max out your food. Some of them give you tools, like the saber tooth will give you like tools and things like that. It's really good. Yeah. And then you get like, because it is deck building as well. Mm-hmm. And so you get more cards put into your deck. And some of them will go directly into your hand. Yep. Some of them will go into your discard pile to get shoveled in. So you might go to this worker placement spot, get those extra workers into your hand so that you can use them on the very next turn to do another spot. Cool. So because, you're like, oh man, I didn't draw what I needed. All right, well, maybe I'll go get some cards real quick. Then I can do this combo and things like that. And then there's the megaliths. There's a lot going on, yeah. And how you're building the megaliths.
And that's the area portion we talked about before. The area
Not the area control. The area control is more of
the megalith is...
No, the megalith's like the ones
you're right. What was I thinking? The tent one.
The tents in the villages.
Yeah, the villages.
Yeah. But the megalith is cool because you get like extra things from that. Mm-hmm. And, you're are kind of working together because if you put yours on top and you get a whole bunch of points, but anybody below your stacked stone will get points as well. And then there's just the tracks. So you go up these tracks and you try to get up a track to be highest on this track first, so you get more points than everybody else. And then your leftover resources, and there's like...
Now you're making me want to play this game again.
Yeah, it's super good. Yeah, that's why it's number 1.
Yeah, really I saw you teaching it the other day to a group, and you were like, alive. The wind was in your sails, and you were enjoying life. It was fun.
Yeah, this one's good. I recommend this game to anybody. It's so good.
For my number 1, do you think you can guess it?
It's got to be Woodcraft.
Yes, it's Woodcraft.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure. But I'm like, I know Ellen liked that one quite a bit, and I was looking at my list to see.
I tried not to talk too much about it.
In between the cuts or whatever, to see how many crossovers we had. I'm like, what could yours be? And I'm like, she hasn't said Woodcraft yet.
Yeah, and I didn't talk much about it because I was letting you have your moment in the sun.
Oh, my moment. Yeah. So here's your moment.
Here's my moment
give the sun to you.
Yeah, so the first time I played, my brain was kind of destroyed. And it's not even that complicated, but you get these like objective things to build, but they don't come out until you get to certain points along this track. And in my mind, I was like, why can't I build this yet? Like, it wasn't happening fast enough. And that kind of bothered me at first. I'm like, come on. But what I realized is those come out at different checkpoints, but you can fulfill other orders in between the time. You have to make
the ones in your hand.
Yeah, so you start the game with like orders that you have to fulfill, but you can't. Like you're not going to ever be able to. Yeah. But what I love too is getting to upgrade your own board. So you upgrade and get more saws, and you can use those saws to cut like the dice. Like, I love that. So you can cut a 5 into a 3 and a 2, and use the 2 for like this project, and then cut the 3 again, and you can glue the 2 onto the 3, and then you choose which of the 2 colors you want, and then that total goes to the green. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm like, what is this? And then you use the money, I think, is blueberries.
Yeah, blueberries is like the currency.
The currency is blueberries, and then the points are hazelnuts.
Yeah.
It's so cute. Yeah. So, gosh, I absolutely loved it. I played it again the very next day, and this time I was like, I am ready. I got that little notebook out. I didn't win. Rainy destroyed me by like 30 points. That's not the point. I did so much better because I was like, okay, something just clicked, and it was so fun, and I felt like I was riding the waves of excitement for a long time. It was very cool. The whole game, I was like, this is fun. This is fun. This is fun. Every turn I made.
Just so many different ways of making the dice go up and down.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's just so neat.
And I love the thought of planting your die. Like you have a little on your side board, there's a little pot with a tree, and you can put your die in there, and then every time it comes back to you, the tree has grown more. So like the die number goes up. Like what? So you grow
bigger
your tree?
Without having to really spend anything.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
And then you upgrade your saws to cut them, and what? Guys, it's just cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
I love Woodcraft. Good job, Woodcraft person.
Good job, Woodcraft.
Whoever the heck made that.
I think it's a Vladimir Suchi game, I
thank
believe.
you. Thank you. I love it.
But yeah, that one's good. All right, I think this is a good list.
I think
good
so.
Top 10.
I think it's.
You feeling pretty good?
I feel great about this list.
Are you, since you've said the top 10 out loud, have you thought like, maybe I should have changed anything? No, I think your list is about what you think.
I'm trying to convince myself right now. My list is about what I think. I might have shuffled a couple things around, but then again, it landed where it landed because.
Well, so this is the thing about top 10s, though.
I know.
Like, especially in a year. Like,
seriously, what do you expect from us?
You've only played the game so many times, at least a handful of times, right?
A handful.
And then you're going along, and you're like, well, I kind of like this one better now because of this.
I know.
Some of the games that came out towards the end of the year maybe didn't have time to play nearly as much as the first
so your
ones.
memory is fresher on this one.
And then just time will tell how many game groups they come to and how often it comes up.
Yeah.
So I think in a given year, it's a little bit more fluid. But,
I agree.
Basically, it's top 10 games. Take them in any order you want. But I'm confident with my top 10. I think that's a pretty.
I think I would have maybe moved like one or two down just on the number, not having it out of my list.
No, right.
So
that's what I mean.
I feel great about mine. When you handed me like this is how many games we played, which was a lot. My eye immediately went to like.
Yeah, we played right about 50-ish.
Yeah.
We were going to try to get to 55, but then again, like a few of the extra ones that didn't get played were ones that were probably never going to make our list anyway, like Return of Dark Tower or something like that. But so that's the top 10. So stick with the next clip here because we're going to talk about a couple of our honorable mentions as well. All right, guys, so I got my phone out because we're going to talk about a few of these games in rapid succession, but these are our honorable mentions. So first off, my 11 was Space Station Phoenix. Just barely didn't make the cut, and I was struggling of whether I was going to make it or not.
I know you love that one.
I do like it a lot.
Well, it did make it here.
Because you're like kind of building like your little space station, and you're like scrapping your space station. So you gotta build up these space stations, then you kind of scrap them out for like your base, and then there's like a little bit of like
all that hard work.
Putting your personnel essentially into these spaces to make them work and stuff.
Okay,
that one's really good. And then my number 12 would probably be actually Guild of Merchant Explorers.
Oh, you ended up loving that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was
that's so good.
Not that it was too light, but. Not that it was too late. I don't know. It's just
I know.
It's just one of those.
I get
didn't quite make it.
That's how I feel about mine.
Slightly more involved because I tend to have games that are a little bit more involved.
Yes.
That was mostly the reason.
Yeah. Such a good game though. I love it. I actually would put that one in our collection.
Sure.
And I don't say that often. Believe me, we have way too many games.
I could see buying.
But I could see myself playing that one.
Yeah.
A lot more. Are those your only?
I guess some other ones, but I was going to mention.
Okay.
What did you have?
Heat.
Yeah, so it didn't quite make it. Do you think it'd be in like an 11 or just a little bit further down?
I think an 11.
Yeah.
I think an 11. It's just so fun. It just didn't squeak in because I tend to. Race games are great, but at the end of the day, they're not my bread and butter.
Yeah.
They're not my meat and potatoes.
I wouldn't expect. I know you really like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't have expected it to be on your list.
And then the other one is Get On Board, which is a remake, you tell me?
Yeah, of Let's Make a Bus Route.
Yeah. So cute. I love it.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Follow your route.
It's kind of like a roll and write.
Pick people up, take them to places, get points for doing so. Super cute.
The original wasn't a roll and write, but this is like a flip and place.
And you have like your own train ticket that you follow. And
everybody's got, you put them out, everybody's got the same amount of turns. Each card does a different type of route for each person.
So is it 2022?
No, it's 2022. That edition is 2022, yeah.
Anyways, what else you got?
The quick ones I was just going to mention, just a couple of light games. Actually, Flamecraft kind of didn't make my list because it just wasn't... It was just too light.
Yeah.
for me personally to have it on a top 10 list.
For sure.
I think it's fantastic. If we did top 10 family games, it'd be way up there. Way up there. Green team wins. Party
Love
game.
It.
It's hard
That
for
is
a party game.
Party game.
Yeah, it's hard for a party game to make my list, straight up.
Right.
It's just,
Totally. I agree. And I get it.
but we probably play that one more than any other game. We played it a ton.
We bring it
So
everywhere.
that one's really good. It's just you're trying to get onto the green team. It's like you're trying to guess what everybody else guesses. It's kind of a game. Really good. And the last one, Ready, Set, Bet.
That's a great one. Oh, that one was so stressful in a fun way, but I was frazzled.
Yeah, you're just like rolling. It's like, especially with the
That's
app.
the app assisted, yeah.
You can have the app or not. It's
Okay.
it's up to you.
The app
But you're
is
doing
cool.
it and you're like kind of placing bets, and you can only place bets to a certain time. And like right when you're about to place a bet, somebody else place it on there. And it's all about
Yeah.
odds and stuff.
So it's like a real time thing. You're
Yeah.
watching if you
It
use
is
the app, the
real-time,
little
yeah.
horses running across, and as you see them progress on the track, also you're
Yeah.
like you put chips out to bet on it.
And
really
normally
quick.
there's somebody rolling, but like the app is just better because you don't have to
It
concentrate
is.
on rolling and
The
stuff.
app
In my
is
opinion,
better.
I know some people don't like it, but that was one that almost could have made my list, to be honest, because it's just
Okay.
that much fun and just like everybody's yelling and around this table. So
Well, my last honorable mention is Three Sisters,
Oh, yeah,
a
you like
roll
that
ride
one. It's a
game.
roll ride.
I love roll rides. Apparently,
Except for Twilight
you gotta-
Inscription.
I don't talk to me about that game. It's fine. It's cute. It's a garden. You're growing things. You're going to the shop. You're going to your
that was
shed.
fun.
You're comboing your plants, and it's just it reminds me of like a cutesy Hadrian's Wall.
Yeah.
And I'm into cutesy games this
Alright,
year. So
alright. All right, guys, that is our top 10 plus some bonus honorable mentions. Thank you all for joining us. And you know what? We're going to hopefully be doing more of these top 10s
we'll
throughout
see.
the year.
We'll see how lazy we get.
Yeah. No, we'll do it.
Yeah, sure.
We'll do it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye bye.